Thank you very much for coming punctually, dear devotees. We will start with Mangalacharanas. We are doing every day. Can I share the screen? And okay, good. Thank you. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Yananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Svapadantikam. Translation, please.
I was born in the darkness, ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. When Sri Rupa Goswami Prabhupada, who has established within this material world the mission to fulfill the desire of Lord Chaitanya, gave me shelter under his lotus feet.
Thank you. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sakagana Ragunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Satvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sakagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitams Cha.
I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of my spiritual master and unto the feet of all Vaishnavas. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of Sri Rup Goswami along with his elder brother Sanatan Goswami, as well as Radhunath Das and Radhunath Bhatt, Gopal Bhatt and Srila Chief Goswami. I offer my respectful obeisances to Lord Krishna Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, along with Advaita Acharya Dadadhara, Srivas and other associates. I offer my respectful obeisances to Srimati Radharani and Shri Krishna, along with their associates Sri Lalita and Vishakha.
Thank you very much. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute. Ishwar, you
Oh,
want to...
my dear Krishna, you are the friend of the distressed and the source of creation. You are the master of the gopis and the lover of Radharani. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you.
Thank you. Tapta Kanchana Gourangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye. You wanted to read, Ishwar? Please go ahead.
I offer my respect to Radharani, whose bodily complexion is like molten gold, and who is the queen of Vrindavan. You are the daughter of King Vrishabhanu, and you are very dear to Lord Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Vanchakalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Yes, Poonam, you go ahead, please.
I offer my respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord. They can fulfill the desires of everyone, just like desire trees, and they are full of compassion for the fallen souls.
Thank you. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
I offer my obeisances to Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhara, Sri Vas, and all others in the line of devotion.
Thank you. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Bhagavad Gita is also known as Gita Upanishad.
No, it's okay. That's Mahamantra. We don't translate it. It's clear. We pray. You don't need to read the next. Thank you in any case. Just 1 second, because this is from different course. Just let's go to your. Okay, so we are in chapter 8. This is what we saw yesterday. So we're in chapter 8 of Bhagavad Gita, attaining the Supreme. Yesterday we read and discussed the connection between chapter 7 and chapter 8 and verses 1 through 13 of the chapter. Arjuna had asked about seven concepts or principles in the beginning verses, and Krishna very concisely has answered what are they about. Brahman, the living entity. We also, of course, we discuss there is Brahman and Para-Brahman, the individual soul and the supreme soul, and both sometimes are called Brahman, and unless we have understood from the acharyas the meaning, people may become bewildered about the meaning of the term in a specific context. Then Adhyatma, referring to the eternal nature of the soul. Karma, the activities related to the material bodies we are living in. Adhibhuta, the material manifestation or the material elements. Adhidaiva, the universal form of the Lord with all the different demigods. Adhidakya, the Lord of the heart, Lord of the sacrifice, who is actually the Paramatma. So this was, we read and discussed in the 5 first verses, and then verses 6 to 13 explain the answer to the 7th question, which was Prayana Kale, or the time of death. So in Krishna explained very, very clearly how to prepare for death. He says that if we remember him, then we will go back to him, and we have to be attentive to how we mold our lives so that in a natural way we can remember him in the end. Otherwise, we may remember anything from the material life, and then this will bring us to take another material body. And another material body means suffering, basically speaking. There are many limitations for the eternal soul by being inside a material body. Of course, now we people in this world, we become accustomed to live to our present identity But if we look into the reality of the world, we see that there are so many sufferings that are there. So Krishna recommends the practice of bhakti yoga, and in the verses we read yesterday, verses 10 through 13, there was also an explanation of what it is called by some Vaishnavacharyas, Yoga Mishra Bhakti. So Bhakti mixed with yoga. So now in the verses that are coming, we will read, discuss, and hear about pure Bhakti Yoga. It's called Ananya Bhakti, which basically means devotional service without other purposes or without other mixture or processes. Bhakti Yoga without deviation. And Krishna explains from verses 14 to 19 how if someone follows that path, the path of bhakti, can achieve the eternal spiritual world. Otherwise, one may remain in the material world, even if one may take birth in higher planets. According to Vedic literatures, there are higher planets in which life is much more, we could say, comfortable from the material viewpoint compared to how we live in this planet Earth at the present moment. But still, Krishna says that all these places are places of suffering. Always there is some type of problem. And then Krishna explains the difference between the material world and the material world. And in order to do that, Sri Krishna explains the duration of the universe, referring to one day of Lord Brahma, who is the secondary creator of the universe. So this is something to take into account, that even if there is the life of Brahma is so long, but it comes to an end, and the universe is created and annihilated again and again. Whereas the spiritual world always remains as it is and remains full of bliss. It is Satchitananda, so it is eternal, fully conscious. Even the stones, the spiritual world, are conscious. In the material world, sometimes even human beings are not very much conscious. Many times human beings, we don't know what we are doing. Many times we do things, we go here and there, we work, we study, we do so many things, but we are not conscious of what we are doing and where we are going. Like we see in the cities, people walk up and down. I'm sure in Pakistan also you have that, in Karachi or Islamabad or wherever. People walk up and down, but many people don't know what they are doing. So much moving, but for what? Where are we going? Whereas in the spiritual world, even the stones are conscious. So the last verses, from verses 20 to 28, after describing the spiritual world, there are like three verses in which Krishna concisely speaks about the transcendental world beyond these material universes. Then Krishna speaks about how the yogis make this world in good moments or in bad moments, according to the astronomical conditions of the universe. And there are references about that in the Upanishads, which Srila Prabhupada quotes, Chandogya Upanishad. Srila Prabhupada doesn't get technical details because my assumption is that the technical details are not that important, especially for a devotee, because if a devotee depends on Krishna, Krishna will take care of such a surrendered devotee. Like yesterday, discussing the question Sri Ramanujacharya asked one of his gurus, Mahatma Kanchipurna, and Krishna answered in the form of the deity of Lord Paradaraj, answered to the question of Ramanujacharya, who was a young man at the time, that if my devotee does not remember me at the time of death, I will remember my devotee. So this is a very important statement by the Lord that as bhakti yogis we should keep in mind, and we can actually progress by such remembrances. Okay, let's go now to the verses. We will start with verse 14. It is a very important verse. 1 second. If someone likes to read Sanskrit translation on purple.
Maharaj, may I?
Yes, please.
Ananya chet satatam yo ma smarati nityasa tasyaham sulabha partha nitya yutkasya yodhina. Translation: for one who always remembers me without deviation, I am easy to obtain, O son of Partha, because of his constant engagement in devotional service.
Purport, please.
Purport: this verse especially describes the final destination attained by the unalloyed devotees who serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead in Bhakti Yod. Previous verses have mentioned four different kinds of devotee: the distressed, the intuitive, those who seek material gain, and the speculative philosopher. Different processes of liberation have also been described: Karma Yod, Dhyan Yod, Hatha Yod. The principles of these yoga systems have some bhakti added, but this verse particularly mentions pure bhakti yoga, without any mixture of dhyan, karma or hatha, as indicated by the word ananya cheta. In pure bhakti yoga, the devotee desires nothing but Krishna. A pure devotee does not desire promotion to heavenly planets, nor does he seek oneness with the Brahmacharya or salvation liberation from material entanglement. A pure devotee does not desire anything. In the Chaitanya Chaitamrit, the pure devotee is called Niskam, which means he has no desire for self-interest. Perfect peace belongs to him alone, not to them who strive for personal gain. Whereas a Dhyan Yodi, Karma Yodi, or Hatha Yodi has his own selfish interest. A perfect devotee has no desire other than to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, the Lord said that for anyone who is unflinchingly devoted to Him, He is easy to attain. A pure devotee always engages in devotional service to Krishna in one of his various personal features. Krishna has various plenary expansions and incarnations such as Ram and Narasimha. and a devotee can choose to fix his mind in loving service to any of these transcendental forms of the Supreme Lord. Such a devotee meet with none of the problem that plague the practitioners of other yogas. Bhakti yoga is very simple and pure and easy to perform. One can begin simply by chanting Hare Krishna. The Lord is merciful to all, but as we have already explained, He is specially inclined toward those who always serve Him without deviation. The Lord helps us such in devotees in various ways, as stated in the Vedas, Satha Upanishad 1.2.23. Yamevaisa vrinutena labhyastasyaiva atma vivnute tanushvam. One who is fully surrendered and engaged in the devotional service of the Lord then understand the Supreme Lord as He is, and as stated in Bhagavad Gita 10.8. Vedami Buddhi Yodantam. The Lord gives such a devotee sufficient intelligence so that ultimately the devotee can attain Him in His spiritual kingdom. The special qualification of the pure devotee is that he is always thinking of Krishna without deviation and without considering the time or place. There should be no impediments. He should be able to carry out his service anywhere and at any time. Some say that a devotee should remain in holy places like Vrindavan or some holy town where the Lord lived. But a pure devotee can live anywhere and create the atmosphere of Vrindavan by his devotional service. It was Sri Advaita who told Lord Chaitanya, "Wherever you are, O Lord, there is a Vrindavan," as indicated by the words Satatam and Nityasa, which means always, regularly, or every day. A pure devotee constantly remembers Krishna and meditates upon him. These are qualifications of a pure devotee for whom the Lord is most easily attainable. Bhakti Yoga is a system that the Gita recommends above all others. Generally, the Bhakti Yoga are engaged in 5 different ways. Shanta Bhatta service has Shant Bhatt engage in devotion service in neutrality. Number 2, Dasya Bhatt engage in devotion service as servant. Number 3, Satya Bhatt engage as friend. Number 4, Vatsalya Bhatt engage as parent. And number 5, Madhurya Bhatt engage as conjugal lover of the Supreme Lord. In any of these ways, the pure devotee is always constantly engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Supreme Lord and cannot forget the Supreme Lord, and so for him the Lord is easily attained. A pure devotee cannot forget the Supreme Lord for a moment, and similarly the Supreme Lord cannot forget his pure devotee for a moment. This is the great blessing of the Krishna conscious process of chanting the Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Thank you. So as you can see, it's a very substantial purport by Srila Prabhupada. There are many different teachings. It's like 5 paragraphs or so, or 6. We can discuss a little bit about it. Some important words to underline is Ananya Cheta in the verse. We can go back to the Sanskrit. Ananya Cheta, you see the first, without deviation of the mind. Cheta refers to the mind or the consciousness. In the Shikshastaka prayers by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that's the first word, Cheto Dharpana Marjanam. So it means to clean the mirror of the Cheta, of the mind. Cheto Dharpana Marjanam. Marjanam is cleaning and Dharpana is the mirror. So Ananya Cheta means, Anya means others, Ananya means without others. So Ananya Cheta implies that the mind, the consciousness, has no other attention than Krishna. Krishna says here, Yo Mam. Yo Mam, Mam means me. So Krishna is saying, Your consciousness has no other attention than focusing on me. And then another important expression is sulabha. Sulabha means very easy to achieve. Labha means to attain, labha, and sulabha, very easy. It's achievable. So Krishna says, if you do this, if you give your attention to me with devotion, then you don't have to worry about anything else. You can achieve me very easily. So this is important, and Srila Prabhupada emphasized this principle in the first paragraph of the purport, how Bhakti Yoga in the pure expression does not require other types of yoga. Hatha, Jnana, Karma, Ashtanga. There is no need. And Srila Prabhupada also is paraphrasing one verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita, and Prabhupada is referring here. This verse was spoken by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, if I remember correctly, was to Srila Rupa Goswami. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, this is in Bengali language, Krishna Bhakta Nishkama Ataeva Shanta, that a devotee of Krishna, Krishna Bhakta, Nishkama, is free from other desires, Ataeva Shanta, and therefore he is very peaceful. That's why Srila Prabhupada speaks about peace, because he's paraphrasing that verse. And then says, Bhukti, Mukti, Siddhi, Kami, Shakali, Ashanta. Others, Bhukti, those who desire material enjoyment, Mukti, liberation from suffering and from the cycle of birth and death, Siddhi, supernatural power or mystic power, Kami means those who desire, and this is referring actually to the karmis. The karmis desire bhukti, desire sense enjoyment, materialistic people. The jnanis desire mukti, liberation. And the yogis desire siddhi, mystic perfection. Bhukti, mukti, siddhi, kami, shakali, ashanta. And therefore, they are not peaceful because they have other desires. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was teaching in this way, and Srila Prabhupada is quoting him. Then in the second paragraph, Srila Prabhupada is explaining about the different incarnations of God, and each devotee can develop a personal attraction to a particular form of the Lord. So that's good if a devotee feels a particular attraction for a form of the Lord, he or she can worship such manifestation of Krishna. There is no difference between Krishna and his incarnations in terms of transcendental identity. Of course, in terms of relationship, it may be some differences, and Srila Prabhupada speaks about that later on, about the different rasas in the fourth paragraph, how different devotees can approach Krishna according to their desires. In a more contemplative attitude, this will be Shantaras, neutrality. Or Dasya Bhakta is more with the spirit of service and to considering oneself a subordinate servant of Krishna. Sakya Bhakta is more intimate, like a friend like Arjuna or the cowherd boys in Vrindavan. But Salya Bhakta refers to an affectionate relationship like Krishna's parents, Yashoda Mai, Mother Yashoda, and Nanda Maharaj, and other elder gopis and gopas in Vrindavan. A Madhurya Bhakta refers to a conjugal attraction for Krishna like the gopis. Krishna Priya.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, I have some questions from the first 2 or 3 paras. Can I ask?
Yes, please.
Maharaj, I have a first question from the first para of text 14 purport. Here it is mentioned that the principles of these yoga system have some bhakti, the jnana yoga, the hatha yoga, and the karma yoga. So I want to like, is there any kind of example to understand these things that karma yoga, jnana yoga, and hatha yoga, they have some bhakti, but this verse particularly mentions pure bhakti without any mixture of jnana, karma, or hatha. But if we see from the philosophical understanding, Maharaj, usually what is the actual meaning of jnana yoga? To have some knowledge of Supreme, because if we have not knowledge of a Supreme, how can we do the pure bhakti of Krishna? If we are not having the knowledge of Krishna, that He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then how somebody can engage in the pure devotional service? Okay, I understood about the Karma Yoga and Hatha Yoga, but I'm a little bit confused about the Gyan Yoga. So can you please explain about it?
When it says that they have some bhakti, for instance, in the classical yoga, like Ashtanga yoga, there are what it is called yamas and niyamas. You may have heard about that. And then one of the niyamas is Ishvara Pranidhana, which uh, means surrender to the Ishvara. So, so some yogis, they practice other processes and they give more importance to the asanas, yoga asanas, control of the breathing processes, like some hatha yogis, for instance, or ashtanga yogis. But there is some bhakti because sometimes they offer also some puja. Like, for instance, I have been participating in some international yoga congresses with representatives from different schools of yoga. And I remember there was one group from Portugal. Their guru was teaching them, and he was presenting Sankhya Yoga, which was a very similar form of Jnana Yoga. He was making a mixture of different processes. And you could see that in part of in their practices, they will include some little puja. So there is some bhakti is there. So that's the idea, that some bhakti is there, but bhakti is not their main focus. So that's the difference. And in terms of the jnana yogis, generally jnana yogis tend to be monist or impersonalist. Their tendency is more impersonalist, and they practice a lot of austerities generally. They practice vairagya, so quite intense austerities. Of course, it depends on which school they are trained, and depends who is their guru, and some gurus are more demanding, some are more flexible. But for one, jnana is very much connected to vairagya, to cultivation of detachment and renunciation with a considerable amount of asceticism, of austerities. And they do a lot of study of the Upanishads, study Vedanta philosophy normally. And Vedanta philosophy basically means to study the Upanishads, the Vedanta Sutra, written by Srila Vyasadeva, and also Bhagavad Gita. But many of them, because they have impersonalist gurus, they tend to give more emphasis to certain parts of the Gita. They don't emphasize so much the bhakti and the personal expression of God in the Bhagavad Gita. Although, as you are studying, there are many, many places where Krishna is described as a person. Like yesterday, we were reading in verse 8 of this chapter, Krishna was referring to him as the Parama Purusha, the Supreme Purusha, or the Supreme Person. But some of these yogis, they tend to look more into the philosophical part and don't give so much emphasis to bhakti. Although we see here in this verse, Krishna is crystal clear, but they feel more attracted to, like yesterday we read about the Yoga Mishra Bhakti, to chant the mantra Om, and like that. That's their tendency. But Krishna today he's saying, for those who are Ananya Cheta, so that's basically saying, for those who are bhakti yogis, I am very easy to attain. Sulabha.
Thank you, Maharaj. Maharaj, I have a next second question from the second para. It is said that Bhakti Yoga is very simple and pure and easy to perform. One can begin simply by chanting Hare Krishna. But I don't feel it easy and simple, Maharaj. Like initially we feel we are very enthusiastic to chant, but gradually we lost that enthusiasm. We even don't have a taste to chant Krishna's name. We are we got so many interest in other things. So I personally feel that bhakti is difficult for to perform. And even I remember, I don't know the reference, but in one of the lecture of Prabhupada, he was also mentioning that bhakti is difficult to perform. But here the Prabhupada is mentioning that it is very simple and pure and easy to perform. So I have some confusion on it, Maharaj. Can you please elaborate it?
Yes, when Krishna said, when Srila Prabhupada says that it's simple and pure and easy to perform, the context is in comparison to other yogas. So in that sense, for self-realization, it's much more accessible. It's like sometimes other yogas have, if they practice seriously to attain self-realization, it's more tough, it's more demanding. So we can say, yes, in Kali Yuga, there are so many distractions, and sometimes we may not have so much sadhu sangha, like in your country. I don't know how many programs you can have in your respective places, but sometimes there are limitations, and then you will have to make work for making the money and take care of the family and how to combine everything. But Bhakti Yoga, it's easy in the sense that even at home, it's possible to do it, like to get together with the family and chant Hare Krishna, or with friends if the family are non-devotees. So get together with the family, with friends, chant Hare Krishna, offer the food to Krishna, and take nice prasadam. So like that, it's not too difficult. It's quite accessible. That's the meaning. And to read devotional books and like that. But it's true that there are many distractions in Kali Yuga. So in that sense can be challenging. So, and that will explain why Srila Prabhupada in other contexts said is difficult or is not so easy.
Thank you, Maharaj. Yes.
In another context, Srila Prabhupada said that spiritual life may be difficult, but material life is impossible. You heard that? Yes.
Yes. Thank you, Maharaj. Only last question from this purport. I just want to know here in the purport it is mentioned one who is fully surrendered and engaged in devotional service of the Supreme Lord can understand the Supreme Lord as he is. So I want to ask Maharaj, pure devotee can understand Krishna as he is. But can a pure devotee understand Krishna fully or completely?
Yes, I mean, Krishna is unlimited. So how can we claim to understand Krishna fully? Even if we, like the pure devotees, they don't claim that I understand Krishna. And they love Krishna so much when a devotee who is in at the level of prema, they love Krishna so much that they feel like Krishna is mine because of their intense love. So that feeling may be there very intensely, but in the same time, how someone can claim, I know Krishna fully. Krishna, and he can expand and surprise the devotees again and again. Krishna will do something that, like we see in Krishna book, when baby Krishna or child Krishna was performing pastimes, and many very evil personalities will attack Vrindavan, and they had been sent by King Kamsa, who was very envious of Krishna and of the deeds of Krishna. So Krishna will always surprise the inhabitants of Vrindavan by defeating the demoniac powerful people who will come to attack him, sometimes in forms of great animals or great, even a snake like Agasura and so on. And Krishna will defeat them, and they will be surprised because, like for instance, when Krishna uh, entered into the mouth of Agasura, who was this very powerful person, he was like these people, they had magic powers. So he took the shape of a gigantic python and opened the mouth so much so that Krishna's friends, the Kocher boys, they were little children. They had 5 years old. Krishna was in the end of the Kaumara age. So they were doubtful whether it was a cave or it was really a gigantic snake. They were thinking this may be a place that has been arranged for as a playground for us. So they decided to enter, and they entered knowing that, okay, Krishna already killed other demons like Bakasura and others. So if it's a demon, then Krishna will take care of it. So no problem. So then Krishna entered and he expanded when the Agasura was closed the mouth. Krishna expanded immensely, and the demon was suffocated. And then it is explained in Srimad Bhagavatam that the spirit soul coming from the body of the big snake became visible for everyone. The soul is invisible. That's what Bhagavad Gita says. It's invisible. We cannot see the soul. But Krishna made it visible and was waiting for Krishna to come out of the dead body of the snake. And then when Krishna came out, this spiritual spark entered into Krishna's body and attained liberation. So this actually everybody who saw it was totally amazed. If the devatas, the demigods saw it, and Krishna's friends, nobody could know. So Krishna always can surprise his devotees. So we see Krishna will do imagine that he will do. So in that sense, it is unlimited. Who can claim to know Krishna completely? Even if we come to know him completely, then again he expands and there is more to be known. But when the Gita says we can know him in truth, means we know he is the supreme personality of Godhead, he's the supreme enjoyer, we are his servants, we love him. So in this way, devotees know Krishna in full. That's the idea.
Thank you
But
so much, Maharaj.
Krishna is infinite, we are infinitesimal.
Okay. Thank you so much, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
So before we move to the next verses, paragraph, Srila Prabhupada refers to an incident when Sri Advaita Acharya told Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, wherever you are, O Lord, there is Vrindavan. Anyone is familiar with the context of this? Who remembers? If you have heard. If you have not heard, I'll tell you. But if you have heard and you remember, you can share with the others. Don't remember? Okay, I can say. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, after at the end of his 24th years of his pastimes on this planet, he decided to take the sannyas order of life in order to spread the holy names and love of Godhead all over India. As a grihasta was more difficult. So he decided, okay, I'll become a sannyasi and then I will be able to preach to everybody. Because even nowadays, but in those years, this was 500 years ago, in India, the culture of listening to the sannyasis was very strong. Nowadays it is still, but much less than it was before. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took the sannyas order of life, and as soon as he took sannyas, the Lord was in ecstasy, and he wanted to go to Vrindavan. So his mood was, I want to see Vrindavan. And he started to walk on the way to Vrindavan. And Lord Nityananda was accompanying Lord Chaitanya. And then Lord Nityananda could see that if the Lord will go far away, then the devotees in Navadvip will not see him so easily and they will miss him a lot. So Lord Nityananda thought, okay, let me arrange, let me play a trick and take Lord Chaitanya back to the area of Navadvip so that the devotees can come and see him as a sannyasi and then say goodbye to him. And then maybe some arrangements can take place that they will see him more later on during the pastimes of the Lord. So then Lord Nityananda went to some cowherd boys who were on the road. He went ahead and he said, there is a sannyasi coming, a very beautiful sannyasi. If you the way of Vrindavan, of the Yamuna, he told them a story, some good reason why they should send him to the path of the Ganges river, so that he will go back to the area of Navadvip. So when Lord Chaitanya asked the boys about the route, they said, yeah, that way. And they told him what Lord Nityananda had indicated them to say. So then Lord Chaitanya went to the banks of the river Ganges, and because he was in ecstasy, he mistook the Ganges for the Yamuna River, and he thought that he had arrived in Vrindavan. So he started to glorify the Yamuna and enter into the Yamuna River in ecstasy. And then when suddenly Sri Advaita Acharya, who knew about the trick of Lord Nityananda, was waiting for Lord Chaitanya with a boat when the Lord was in the Ganges to pick him up and to give him some fresh clothes. So then when Lord Chaitanya saw Advaita Acharya, he said, "Oh, Advaita Acharya, what are you doing in Vrindavan?" And then Advaita Acharya told him, "My Lord, wherever you are, oh Lord, there is Vrindavan." So this is the context of what Srila Prabhupada is telling here. So, and this paragraph is actually very important because this shows Srila Prabhupada's mood and mission. Srila Prabhupada was living in Vrindavan very happily, and he decided to travel to the West and go around the world as much as 14 times, 14 tours around the world to spread the Krishna consciousness movement. And thanks to him is that we all can be devotees and can connect to, can aspire to become devotees and connect with the holy name of Krishna, with the worship of the deity, sadhu sangha of the devotees, to visit the holy places like Mayapur and Vrindavan, and so on. So this is very important. It shows Srila Prabhupada's mood and mission, that a devotee shouldn't just be content to live in holy places like Vrindavana, but should also travel and share the atmosphere of Vrindavan with others through spreading Krishna consciousness. Okay, let's go now to translation of verses 15 to 19. Who likes to read, please?
After attaining me, great souls who are yogis in devotion never return to this temporary world, which is full of miseries, because they have attained the highest perfection. Text 16. From the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest, all are places of misery, wherein repeated birth and death take place. But one who attends to my abode, O son of Kunti, never takes birth again. Text 17. By human calculation, 1,000 ages taken together form the duration of Brahma's one day, and such also is the duration of his night. Text 18. At the beginning of the Brahma's day, all living entities become manifest from the unmanifest state, and thereafter, where the night falls, they are merged into the unmanifest again.
19.
Text 19. Again and again, when Brahma's day arrives, all living entities come into being, and with the arrival of Brahma, a night they are helplessly annihilated.
Thank you. So the Lord here is describing the material world and how the pure devotees, they don't want to come back to the material world because it is an artificial place. It's a place of forgetfulness of Krishna and of suffering. So Srila Prabhupada makes a comparison between the spiritual world and the material world. Maybe we can read also verses 20, 21, and 22 that describe the spiritual world, and then we can do the comparison. Sunil?
Hare Krishna, Maharaj ji, may I?
Yes, please.
Yet there is another unmanifest nature which is eternal and is transcendental to this manifested matter. It is supreme and is never annihilated. When all in this world is annihilated, that part remains as it is. That which the Vedant the Vedantist described as unfallible, that which is known as supreme destination, the place from which having it, one never returns. This is my supreme abode. The supreme personality of Godhead, who is greater than all, is attainable by unalloyed devotion. Although he is in his abode, he is and elevated within him.
Thank you. Okay, so yeah, this is good for comparing. Like we see the material world. The material world is described by Krishna in text 15 as a place of suffering. Mamupetya punarjanma dukkhalayam ashashvatam. Dukkhalaya means a place of suffering. Sometimes, I don't know how it is in Sindhi, if the words are similar or different. In Hindi, sometimes they say, when you go to a place like a restaurant or a place of food, it's you say Bojanalaya, isn't it? Bojanalaya. You say that in Sindhi also, no? Hmm? The alaya you don't have in Sindhi. The word alaya.
No, Maharaj, we don't use it in Sindhi.
Okay. In Hindi it's used in Hindi, and it comes from the Sanskrit. Like there is Bojanalaya means a place of Bojan, of food. Or for medicine, they say Aushadhi Alaya. Aushadhi is the medicine, Alaya the place of medicine. So Krishna says the material world is Dukkhalayam, a place of dukkha, a place of suffering. And sometimes it is compared to an ocean, and that's why in the picture we see the ocean. It's not only, it can be literal as well. Sometimes there are big floods in some places, and people also suffer in this way. We had even here in Spain, where the rains are not as strong as in tropical or subtropical countries, like in India. I don't know how it is in Pakistan. Do you have floods sometimes in Pakistan? Yes, sometimes. China also. But here there was near the Mediterranean Sea last year, there was a big flood and a few hundred people died. It was unexpected. It was a pretty big change of weather, and suddenly lots of water fall, and people were not prepared. So some were were they were stuck in places where they couldn't go out, and the water came in, and unfortunately they had to suffer and died there. So the material world is like that, but also the example of the ocean of material existence can be applicable also, not in the literal sense, but in the sense that it's an ocean where it's tough. Things happen. There are different types of problems, sometimes problems coming from other living beings, can be in sometimes even in the same family sometimes, depending on the karma of the person, or can be another country or another person. When I was a child, there was one big boy who always was, he liked to make me scared. So I didn't want to go to school because this big boy will come to scare me. I was a little kid, maybe 5, 6 years old. So only I became more fearless when I told my mother, and then my mother went and blasted the boy, told him, uh, are you not ashamed of doing this? You are a big boy and you are disturbing this little child, shameless, and so on. And then this boy stopped disturbing me. But the point is that even in this world, there are so many problems that are there from early childhood up to old age. In old age, also there are many different difficulties. And then we see also sometimes people are hungry and they need food and and searching for, like we see now there are in some countries in Africa or in Middle East, in Gaza, and people go through so much sometimes. And there are wars, so many wars all over the world. So therefore, the material world is compared to a prison house. And it's, of course, the suffering is meant to help us to learn something. We can learn from the suffering if we become thoughtful and wise and we take good instruction. But the point is that the material world is a place of problems. On the other hand, the spiritual world is described as a transcendental place. It is blissful. It is not limited like the material world. And here in the Gita, not so many details are given, but Srila Prabhupada in the purpose, he does give more information based on Brahma Samhita and other texts in which Krishna's personal abode is described. So sometimes there are descriptions that in Krishna's personal planet, every step is like a dance. Every word is a song. So everything is vibrant, it's full of bliss, and there is not any constraints as we find in the material world. Any questions about these comparisons? Basically, these verses from 15 to 22, such a comparison takes place. And there are few verses, 16 to 19, where technicalities of the duration of the universe and one of the universal time periods is described to give us an idea of how small we are compared to the duration of the universe. We're like little ants. Any questions on this? It's clear? Yes? Okay, good. So let's read now the last verses. We will read text 23 with the purport as well, because it's an important verse. Okay, 1 second. Yeah, there is. Okay, I thought there was a question in the chat. Yes, Naina?
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna, I want to read.
You want to read? Okay, that's good. That's nice.
Hare Krishna Maharaj Ji.
So please, you can read Sanskrit and then translation and purport. Is that okay?
Prabhuji, maybe there's a question of Kashish.
Yeah, you can read and then I can take later the question, so it's okay.
Yat kale tava anavritam avirtam chaiva yoginah prayata yanti tam kalam vakshami bharatas sabha. O best of the Bharatas, I shall now explain to you the different times at which passing away from this world the yogi does or does not come back. Purport, the unalloyed devotees of the Supreme Lord who are totally surrendered souls do not care when they leave their bodies or by what method. They leave everything in Krishna's hand and so easily and happily return to Godhead. But those who are not unalloyed devotees and who depend instead on such methods of spiritual realization as Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Hatha Yoga must leave the body at a suitable time in order to be sure of whether or not they will return to the world of birth and death. If the yogi is perfect, he can select the time and situation for leaving this material world. But if he is not so expert, his success depends on his accidentally passing away at a certain suitable time. The suitable times at which one passes away and does not come back are explained by the Lord in the next verse. According to the Acharya Baldev, Vidya Bhushana, the Sanskrit word Kal used herein refers to the presiding deity of the time.
Thank you. So this is a very important purport, because Srila Prabhupada is saying that as bhakti yogis, we do not need to worry. And this is the conclusion of the chapter. Krishna says, for a devotee, it's okay, you don't have to worry about when to leave the body. Like, it's up to Krishna, and Krishna will take care. We should take shelter of Krishna and of the devotees. Of course, when somebody is about to leave the body, it's good to give full attention to hearing and chanting about Krishna, and to spend time with devotees as far as possible. But one doesn't need to worry about anything. Like, there was one case that took place in 1976 in Vrindavan. This is narrated by Srila Prabhupada's personal secretary at the time, His Grace Harishauri Prabhu, who lives in Sridham Mayapur. There was one lady devotee. Her name, this Mataji, was, I think it was Manishi was the name, if I remember correctly. She was only maybe 16, 17 years old, something like that. And she was very afraid. She had been diagnosed leukemia. So she had cancer in the blood, and she was going to die. And she had gone to Vrindavan with her mother to leave her body there. But she was very much afraid. So they went to see Srila Prabhupada, and Srila Prabhupada spoke to them very directly, in a very straightforward way, and told her that because she was sobbing, the young girl was sobbing, I'm going to die, and maybe I'm not ready to quit my body. And then the mother was explaining to Srila Prabhupada, because the girl couldn't say much. And then Srila Prabhupada told her, please tell me who is going to live here. Tell me who is going to live. meaning that we all are going to die. So in Prabhupada gave her courage and told her, just chant Hare Krishna and everything will be all right. Don't worry, Krishna will take care. And then the girl stopped crying and felt reassured that everything was fine. So it seems that she was afraid that maybe the Yamadutas will come or something. She had read about the Yamadutas. But Prabhupada told her, don't worry, you are a devotee, you will be okay. Krishna will take care of you. So this is a very important purport. Let's now read the verses 24 through 27. Who likes to read the translations?
May I, Prabhuji?
Yeah, well, Poonam has raised the hand.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, I want to read, but Gayatri can read. He's here also.
Yes, please. Yes,
Text
first one can read
24.
and another one can read, no problem.
Yes, we can do like this.
Yes,
Text 24. Those who know the Supreme Brahman attain that Supreme by passing away from the world during the influence of the fairy god, in the light at an auspicious movement of the day, during the fortnight of the waxing moon, or during the 6 months when the sun travels in the north. Text 25. The mystic who passes away from this material world during the smoke, the night, and the fortnight of the waning moon, or the 6 months when the sun passes to the south, reaches the moon planet but again comes back. Text 26. According to the Vedic opinion, there are two ways of passing from this world, one in light and one in darkness. When one passes in light, he does not come back, but when one passes in darkness, he returns. Text 27. If Poonam Mataji wants to read, she can.
Yeah, you can read 27 and then somebody else can read the purport. Please go ahead.
Text 27. Although the devotee knows these two paths, O Arjuna, they are never bewildered, therefore be always fixed in devotion.
Thank you,
Text
very good. Okay, read 28 also, that's fine.
A person who accepts the path of devotional service is not bereft of the result derived from studying the Vedas, performing sacrifices, undergoing austerities, giving charity, or pursuing philosophical and fruitive activities. Simply by performing devotional service, he attains all these, and at the end, he reaches the supreme eternal abode.
Thank you. Very good. So Poonam, you wanted to read. You can read, please, the purport to text 27.
Hare Krishna. Krishna is here advising Arjuna that he should not be disturbed by the different paths the soul can take when leaving the material world. A devotee of the Supreme Lord should not worry whether he will depart by arrangement or by accident. The devotee should be firmly established in Krishna consciousness and chant Hare Krishna. He should know that concern over either of these two paths is troublesome. The best way to be absorbed in Krishna consciousness is to be always devoted in his service, and this will make one's path to the spiritual kingdom safe, certain, and direct. The word Yoga Yukta is especially significant in this verse. One who is firm in yoga is constantly engaged in Krishna consciousness in all his activities. Sri Rupa Goswami advises Anasaktasya Vishayan Yatharham Upayunjata. One should be unattached in material affairs and do everything in Krishna consciousness. By this system, which is called Yukta Vairagya, one attains perfection. Therefore, the devotee is not disturbed by these descriptions because he knows that his passage to the supreme abode is guaranteed by devotional service. Hare Krishna.
You. So, yeah, this is important. Srila Prabhupada is reiterating what we read in text 23. So, as devotees, we don't need to worry about auspicious or inauspicious uh, cosmical considerations and time considerations because Krishna takes care of the devotees. Krishna promises in the Gita, we will come to that in the next chapters. Kaunteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati. Krishna says, Arjuna declared boldly that my devotee never perishes. So Krishna promises to protect his devotees. You had some questions? Any of you wanted to ask? No? That's okay? Okay. Then there is the last purport. It's very long, but it's very substantial. So I think it's worth it to give some attention to it. Let's look at it. We can read again the translation and the verse because this is like the conclusions. Srila Prabhupada summarizes chapters 7 and 8. Ishwar, you want to read?
Yes, Maharaj.
Yes, please.
A
Translation. Also.
Okay. A person who accepts the path of devotional service is not bereft of the results derived from the studying the Vedas, performing sacrifices, undergoing austerities, giving charity, or pursuing philosophical and fruitive activities. Simply by performing devotional service, he attains all these, and at the end he reaches the supreme eternal abode. Purport. The verse is the summation of the 7th and 8th chapter, which particularly deal with Krishna consciousness and devotional service. One has to study the Vedas under the guidance of the spiritual master and undergo many austerities and penance while living under his care. A brahmachari has to live in the home of the spiritual master just like a servant, and he must beg alms